You ever wonder what it is about certain people? You know the ones. They walk into a room and without even saying a word, there's just a presence about them, an undeniable gravity. So what is it that gives them that power? That's the big question we're going to unpack today as we look at the silent architecture of personal power.
Okay, so right off the bat, let's just get rid of the obvious answers. We're all kind of taught to think it's about having a certain look, but it's not. I mean, we've all met really attractive people who just don't command any attention at all. So, yeah, it's not looks.
And it's not money either. Sure, wealth can buy you influence, but it can't buy you that deep, real respect that comes from true personal power. So we can go ahead and cross that one off the list too.
So if it isn't the external stuff, what is it? Well, the secret architecture behind this silent power, it's not external at all. It's all internal. It's all psychology. It's about a deep understanding of human nature, and it starts with understanding yourself.
And this, right here, this is the foundation for everything. At the end of the day, people aren't going to remember the exact words you said or what you were wearing. What they will remember is the feeling you left them with. Real power is all about that emotional imprint.
So, how do we build this? Well, let's get into the first pillar, mastering the art of stillness. This is all about cultivating an inner calm that projects outward as, well, unshakable strength.
Now, what's so interesting here is how this totally flips our idea of power on its head, right? The most respected people, they're not the ones fighting for the microphone. They are almost always the calmest person in the room. They don't feel this need to prove themselves or overshare to feel connected or chase the spotlight. Their confidence is quiet, and that's exactly what makes it so darn powerful.
And here it is. This is the ultimate stress test for that confidence. It's not about how you act when everything's going your way. No. It's how you respond when you get challenged, when you're insulted or ignored or underestimated. That moment, it reveals everything.
And this shows the difference so clearly. A weak response is that knee-jerk reaction, just pure emotion, no thought. But a strong response, it starts with a pause. It starts with observation. You take a second to process before you do anything. And in that moment, you're claiming control of the situation and, more importantly, of yourself.
That pause, that deliberate choice to just not react immediately, that's where the power is. You know, sometimes saying nothing at all is the most powerful thing you can do. It communicates control, confidence, and a total refusal to get dragged into someone else's chaos.
All right, let's move on to our second pillar and see how this all connects. This one's about understanding the value of scarcity. And look, this isn't about playing hard to get. It's about recognizing that your presence, your time, your energy, they're all valuable resources. So the key takeaway here is this really fundamental psychological trigger. We are all just wired to value what is rare. When something isn't always available, our perception of how much it's worth just goes way, way up.
And this applies directly to you. When you protect your time by not being available 24/7, people value it more. When you protect your energy and your peace, others learn to respect your boundaries. And you don't always owe everyone an explanation. Your presence just becomes so much more meaningful when it's not a given.
The same exact principle applies to your plans, to your next move, you know? There's a real strength in not needing to broadcast everything you're thinking. When you move with a quiet purpose, you create this sense of mystery. And that curiosity, it breeds respect.
Now, after hearing about stillness and scarcity, it might be tempting to see these as, tools for manipulation. But that is a complete misreading of what this is all about. We have to go deeper, to the true source of all this power.
Let's be absolutely clear on this. Using these ideas to try and control or fool other people, that's a hollow game. It's fragile. That's not power. That's just insecurity wearing a mask. The real objective, the only one that truly matters, is mastering yourself. See, authentic power isn't about controlling the world or the people around you. It's generated completely from within, by having total control over your own inner world.
So what does that look like in the real world? Well, it boils down to these three pillars. It's the ability to be the eye of the storm when everything around you is chaos. It's having the focus to go after your goal when the world is just full of distractions. And it's the discipline to keep going, especially when it gets hard and everyone else has already given up.
And this right here, this is why. A person who has mastered their own emotions, their own impulses, their own focus, they are fundamentally unshakable. Their strength comes from inside, so it doesn't depend on what's happening outside.
That is true power.
Okay, so we have stillness, scarcity, and self-mastery. So what's the last piece of the puzzle that ties this all together? Let's talk about the final transformation that makes a person truly, well, unforgettable.
This is it. This is the master key that unlocks everything. The second your self-worth is no longer tied to the opinions or the praise or the approval of other people, you start operating from a place of pure authenticity. You're no longer performing for an audience. And that kind of independence is incredibly magnetic. It's memorable. So we'll just leave you with this final thought. Building this silent architecture of power. It isn't about becoming some different person. It's actually about stripping away the need for everyone else's approval to finally reveal the strong, self-possessed version of you that was there all along.